All right, so today I want to talk about making your first budget. And maybe you made a budget before, maybe you kind of like half did a budget or whatever. But a lot of times I'll see people, especially if they're just first starting off, they just kind of write down round numbers and like, oh, yeah, it's about 50 bucks. It's about this. It's about like, no, stop. Hey, the first time you do a budget, I suggest you get really, really detailed, like really detailed. But you don't want to overcomplicate it. You don't want to make it super crazy or anything like that. But you don't want to be guessing. And so what I did the first time that we built a budget is I literally just took our statement for our checking and just went through it line by line. Okay, all right. Oh, that was the electric. Oh, that's the phone. That's the whatever. And then I was like, oh man, we spent a lot on yeah. So um, a lot of those different things, and so then you can kind of put it together and kind of see what you're doing. Now, for me, I like spreadsheets, so that's what I started using back in. I think it had to have been 2012. I think, yeah, it would have been 20. Sometime late 2011 or early 2012 when we made our first budget. So that winter time frame. So we've been using the same system for a long time. It's what helped us get out of debt and start actually putting money where we wanted it to go and work for us. So it does work. It's simple. We use it. And so our basic budget really it's kind of a mixture of things now. We've tried different budgeting apps. So we've tried You Need a Budget. We tried Mint when it was a thing. We've tried the Every Dollar app. I've tried what was it? There's another one. But either way, it just didn't really work for us as far as like the app because there was kind of a lag and like I didn't know like yeah, I didn't have a mechanism to stop us from spending money. And so what we've kind of landed on now is we kind of have a hybrid system to where we have a spreadsheet, which that really is our template that I have on my website. So it's literally the downloadable template that I keep on my website. You can get I'll put links in the comments or whatever. Um, but that literally is like the guide for our budget, but then it's implemented through automation. So like everything that I can automate to where it automatically gets paid, automatically comes out, I do that because I know me, I'm a natural spender. If I get my hands on it, that money's gone. It's gone. So I have to get it out of my hands and make sure that it goes where it's supposed to go. The other thing that we do is we actually still use envelopes. Like we actually put cash in envelopes and we use that to pay for certain things. So like groceries, stuff like that. Um, that's not as easy to do anymore. Like say for instance our entertainment, like we used to do that with cash as well, but that's been really hard to do because a lot of venues and stuff now are all cashless. So you literally cannot use cash. Like if you go to a baseball game or something like that, like a lot of those, like you can't even use cash anymore. So that has kind of gone to a little, that just goes into a separate account. And then whenever we use it, we just know to pull it from that. Um, so that's kind of our basic system. But when you're first getting started, like it's okay to try some things and it's okay to iterate. It's okay to, make some adjustments and all that. Like I said, it's really just about whatever works for you and whoever else is going to have a hand in your finances. So if you're sharing finances with a spouse, if you have an adult child that you have a joint account with, whatever, whoever's spending money out of that your money, then you need to make sure that this system jives and syncs with everything so that you're not like constantly like fighting and butting heads. And we do some different stuff too. Like say for instance, like we don't have debt, so we don't have like car payments or anything like that. But we have automated savings that goes toward car payment, that basically to ourselves. So we have a vehicle fund that is our car payment. So we still make the payment, just not to a bank. We make it to ourselves, and then the bank pays us instead of us paying the bank. So it works out. But anyway, um, so when you're first kind of getting started, like just pick a system, try it out, and if it works, hey, just keep going with it. If it doesn't, make an adjustment. Like I said, I do keep the exact template that I use. I actually, because I wanted to share it with people, I prettied it up and all that and put the colors and stuff like that, so it's a little bit easier to look at things. Um, but yeah, so that's literally what I use. And during Money Day every year, we literally go back through the budget and do all that. Which that's another good point that a lot of people think like you have to like every single transaction I got to put in there. I've got to do X, Y, and Z. We we kind of keep a little bit of a buffer. Now, when we first started, we did do that. Like at the end of the month or end of the week, because sometimes you have a lot of transactions to go through at the end of the month. So I would go through and like, okay, we spent this much on this. Okay, well, that was higher than what I thought, or that was lower than what I thought. Like our initial estimates for how much we were spending on gas was actually way lower than what we were actually spending. So I like identified like, oh, okay, we're actually spending like $150 to $200 more a month on gas than what I thought. Um, at the time, I was doing a lot of driving and I had a big truck, so it used a lot of fuel. But yeah, so it's important to kind of know those things. And over time, like I said, we've been doing this for well over a decade now. So I kind of like we both kind of have an intuition about how much we spend on things, and sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. But yeah, we kind of adjust as we go. The other thing we do is we actually keep a little bit of a buffer in the checking. So even if we spend everything down, like we keep $1,000 in the checking at all times. So that way, whenever it gets to $1,000, like we know, or close to $1,000, like okay, we're broke. $1,000 is actually $0, so we know like not to spend. But if there's something we absolutely have to have or forgot about, and some random thing that comes out of there, we're not going to overdraft. We're not going to have any problems. And then we just figure that out. Either we transfer that in from some of our extra savings that we have, or we just, hey, this next month we got to make sure that we're a little more um, on it, or cut some expenses somewhere. But overall, yeah, if you have any questions, please put some comments in there and let me know. You can always get on the website, shoot me an email, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. But the main thing is just like the budget is it's one of the main tools that you need to have, no matter how you manage it, no matter what you want to call it. You can call it a spend plan, you can call it a cash flow plan, whatever. The budget is not a bad word. It's totally okay. But regardless, you need to know and plan out where your money's going. Otherwise, it just has a tendency to just, yeah, it just goes wherever. You end up spending it or whatever. At least that's for me. So you want to make sure you have a plan, a written plan, have it down, and make sure that you're following it. And if you mess up, you go over or whatever, don't worry about it. It's okay. Like it's just 1 month. Get back, get back to it, readjust the system, and just keep going. So I hope this was helpful. If you have questions, let me know, and have an awesome day. Oh yeah, and remember, yeah, the budget that I use, the actual budget template that I use, is on the website. So make sure and grab that. You can grab any. It'll ask you to sign up for my newsletter, but then it'll send you all the other templates and stuff that I have too. So anyway, I spent a lot of time on it, so I don't feel bad about asking for your email so that I can send you more helpful information and stuff like that. But either way, hope this was helpful. Have a good one.